in the global conscience. Aleppo is now a synonym for hell. As I told the Security Council 3 days ago, we have collectively failed the people of Syria.
I want to bring in Michael Weiss now. He's a CNN contributor and co-author of ISIS Inside the Army of Terror, as well as Lieutenant Colonel Rick Francona. He's a CNN military analyst and a former U.S. military attaché in Syria. Colonel Francona, let's start with you. Is there a chance that this ceasefire will last long enough to help the people that are still there get out?
Yeah, I think so. I think that eventually this is going to take place. They'll make it happen. There'll be these glitches along the way, but I think that everybody wants this to happen. It's the only way forward for the city of Aleppo. I think the rebels have gotten the best deal they can. Being able to leave the city when I think the Russians, the Iranians, and the Syrians were intent on crushing them, just pounding them into eradication, I think is a good thing for the rebels. They should take what they can and get out. And throwing roadblocks in the way is not going to make this any better. So I think that the handwriting's on the wall. Aleppo was lost to them, and they need to make the best play they can. Get out of there, go down to Idlib, and set up for the fight there. That's the next battle. It's going to be the Battle of Idlib.
Now, Michael, how do you see this playing out in the big picture? You know, the president said that Bashar al-Assad can't cause a massacre, slaughter his way to legitimacy. But isn't that exactly what's happening here?
Yeah, it is. The President of the United States got up in 2011 and said that the time has come for Bashar al-Assad to step aside. Well, Barack Obama will be stepping aside before Bashar al-Assad is. The United States sort of sat this conflict out, or actually I shouldn't say that. I should say it intervened in a very half-cocked and half-hearted manner, which is probably the problem, right? The CIA was running arms and giving logistical support to about 80 or some odd Free Syrian Army groups, providing them with anti-tank missiles, but also instilling a sense of false hope that the U.S. was on their side. The U.S. was only ever using the rebels to get Assad to the negotiating table, and of course Assad negotiated to pursue exactly what he's doing now, which is the ever-elusive military solution for Syria. This is something that the U.S. State Department has said was an impossibility. Well, it's quite a possibility, and Rick is right. The next stop is Idlib, and the reason that the regime, and when I say the regime, what I really mean to say is Russia and Iran, which are calling the shots. Russian Spetsnaz or special forces have been on the ground in Aleppo for weeks. Most of the atrocities committed in East Aleppo are being done by Iranian-built militias. These guys want the remainder of the Free Syrian Army, but also Al-Qaeda and Ahrar al-Sham, the Islamist battalions, to go to Idlib. Why? Because then it justifies turning Idlib into a kill box. They can drop all the bombs they want on Idlib and say, you see, all the terrorists have now moved here. This is the next province we have to, quote-unquote, liberate. That's the game plan. And they're hoping to do this in the period between Barack Obama leaving office, Donald Trump entering office, and sort of finding his bearings. Although I must say the Trump campaign and the Trump administration, such as it is shaping up to be, does not seem to want to pick any kind of fight with Putin or Assad. Quite the opposite. They want to work with them to eliminate ISIS.
Colonel Francona, how do you see the Trump administration handling this moving forward? Trump said yesterday that they wanted to create safe zones in Syria. Is that even possible at this point?
Well, it is more possible than it was in the past, and that's because you've got the Turks operating, moving toward Raqqa, and they've set up quite an enclave up there with the Free Syrian Army. That could be the free zone, and that had been talked about, for the past year. And the Turks said this would be the perfect place to do it, and many of us, me included, would say, well, yeah, but that's great. Somebody has to go down and force ISIS out of that area, and the Turks have done just that. So there is a possibility for that. But I think Michael's right. What's going to happen now with the new administration coming in? I think there's no stomach in the new administration for continued support to the Free Syrian Army. So I think that we're going to stand back and we're going to concentrate on ISIS and basically throw the Free Syrian Army under the bus.
I want to turn now to ISIS. Michael, the U.S. now offering a $25